All right, guys, today we're going to talk about operators. So we're going to go through a quick screencast here, just showing you, how to use those within our code because you'll need those on the next couple apps we're going to be building. So let's go ahead and want to create a new playground. You can go ahead and call the playground operators if you'd like to. All right, let's go ahead and get to work here. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a variable, and we'll go ahead and call it results. We're going to set that equal to 4 plus 4. What the heck? Sure. Okay, so with operators, all right, operators are used in math, obviously, to perform operations, add, subtract, multiply, divide, and all the different math operations you would use. So when we're using the here, so we've created a variable called result that's going to be equal to 4 plus 4, which is 8. Okay, so now if I were to call result down here, okay, again, it's going to bring up that number 8 for me. So result is now equal to 8. Okay, so so you can use all the operators that you would use. So this would be addition. All right, we also have subtraction we can use. Learn how to spell here. There we go. All right, so now if I wanted to use subtraction, same idea. I could go result is equal to 5 minus 4. All right, by doing that, all right, we've now overridden the top result. It's now equal to 1. All right, again, to prove that, I'll just go ahead and call result, and we get the number 1. Okay, we've got multiplication. All right, so multiply. All right, so I'll override result again, and I'll say 5 times 5. So result's going to now be equal to 25. Okay, and then we've also got division. All right, so we'll override it one more time. We'll go result is equal to 20 divided by 5, and that's going to leave us with 4. All right, so simple math there, but again, just showing you how you can use those operators. So again, we're just going to use the signs that are in there. Swift will compile and do that just like a calculator would here. Okay. Also, we can work with order of precedence. All right, so if when you're working with your equations here and you need something to happen here in a certain way, so let's just show you what I mean by that. So we'll create a variable called new result. All right, just get something new here. And if I were to go ahead and take, let's see here, yeah, new result. So if I were to go with 3 plus 5, I'm sorry about that, and multiply that by 10. All right, so remember order of precedence. That'll please, it's going to go ahead and the multiplication is going to be done first. So it's going to be 5 times 10 is 50, and then it's plus 3. Okay, but if you wanted to change that up, if you wanted to have the math be done first, you could just put 3 plus 5, excuse me, inside parentheses. So the adding is now done first. 3 plus 5 is 8, and then it gets multiplied by 10. So just be careful with that when you're working with your code there. Especially if it's an equation that's going to dictate a certain result there. Just play around with the order of that. But again, just showing you the operators and how they're used within the code here. Couple other ones. So these are more just kind of your basic ones here. We've got urinary operators or unary operators, which basically operate on one variable at a time. Excuse me, so let's go ahead and talk about that here. So unary operators. Okay, so what we're going to be looking to do here with these, again, is we're going to be working with one variable at a time as we go through here. Okay, actually, sorry, quick typo on that. All right, so let's do this here. Let's create a variable and call it foo. We'll go ahead and set that equal to 5 plus 10. Okay, so simple math there, we know that's equal to 15. Okay, so now with we've got two new operators that we can work within here called increment and decrement. So if we want to increment, so if we want to increase something by 1, simple way to do that is you can go foo is equal to plus equal 1. And then what you will see is that's equal to 16. So basically that's shorthand for this. You can foo is equal to foo plus 1. We're just going to increment again. You'll see it's 17. So both things do the same. This is the increment operator. All right, but it's just increasing our value by 1. Okay, so there'll be some reasons in code. So maybe every time the user presses a button, you have to register their turn in the game. So this could be a way to do that. On the other side, if you were making a game, let's say every time they got hit by an object, they lose a life or they lose a health meter reading of some sort. We could do the same thing. So we could go foo shorthand minus equal 1. And it's back down to 16, or in longhand, you go foo is equal to foo minus 1. And again, it's just decrementing it. All right, so these are the two operators you could work with called increment and decrement. All right, another operator we have that you'll use from time to time in your code is called the remainder operator. Okay, so this operator is used to know if it's going to help to know if the number is evenly divisible or not. So it could be useful if you're checking a condition. All right, and you want to find out what's left over. So this one works like this. So we're going to create a variable called, we'll just call it next result. All right, and then if we were to go 9% sign 2, so again, the percent sign is the modulo operator, we get a result of 1. All right, so basically what this does, it's going to check how many times the number 2, how many times is 9 divisible by 2. All right, so and then it's going to give you the remainder that's left over. Okay, so again, 4 times 2 is 8. All right, so we know we can get that in there twice, and then there's the remainder of 1. Okay, so if we were to try that again, var super cool results. Oh, and then if we were to go 11 modulo 2, all right, you're going to get that 10 once again because, again, 2 can go into 11. Okay, you can go 5, 10, and then you got a leftover 1. So basically, it's taking the remainder of when you multiply that. Okay, so it's one that we're going to use it on the review problems you guys are going to do here in a moment, but when you see it in use, it might make more sense as to why you would want to use that here. But yeah, again, pretty quick little screencast here, just giving you a chance to play around with the different operators that we're going to use over the next unit here in code. So why don't you go ahead, you can start working on the review problems here so that way you can take this stuff and actually apply it. But again, just make sure if you have questions you're asking. But again, we covered addition, subtraction, multiply, dividing, order of precedence, and then we used a couple of unary operators, the increment, the decrement, and the remainder operator. All right, so why don't you go ahead and give those review problems a shot, and we'll see how you guys do. Thanks.